I'm Emmanuel Jacquez, and coming up on Sun 20 TV, a grassroots movement is gaining momentum as Southampton residents rally for improved rail service. The South Fork Commuter Connection gives commuters a break from traffic and gets them to and from work on time.
This traffic is just not going to stop. It's only gotten worse. We used to think it was bad when there was one road going in, and now that two roads are coming in on County Road 39, it's just as congested, if not worse, than when it was a decade and a half ago.
The group organized a demonstration today called Rally for Rails at Hampton Bays train station. During the rally, speakers emphasized the urgent need for these improvements and called on the MTA to act swiftly.
The biggest challenge is to convince the MTA to do the right thing. They're very city-centric, and they're not focused on the East End or the South Fork. To their detriment, they're not fulfilling their mission of what they're supposed to do in terms of public transportation. Just because we're on the eastern end of the island, we're an appendage of the state, doesn't mean that the MTA should forget us. The one thing they haven't forgotten is how to collect the money from us. It's all about transportation and about moving people. People don't move on the South Fork. It's bumper-to-bumper traffic in the morning. It's called the trade parade. We're looking for better ways to get people around. There is no better way than public transportation that's effective and efficient. We don't have that now. We need to run more buses that connect to trains. We need more train service. And to get that, because we have a single track here, we need to rebuild some of the sidings along the way and some of the signalization. We need the MTA to step up to the plate and schedule more trains, rebuild the sidings, rebuild the signalization so that the trains can run efficiently. We need to tie our buses into trains, and we need, for the smaller commutes, microbuses that can go into the communities and the neighborhoods and specific employers like the school district or the hospital.
Rally today for local commuters at Hampton Bays. Yeah, rally today.
So let's see where you're going first. Is there a different price if you buy like
South Fork Commuter Coalition, a diverse group consisting of elected officials, educators, medical professionals, business leaders, and regular commuters, is dedicated to improve local Long Island Railroad service on the eastern portion of the Montauk branch. The purpose of organizing the rally is to advocate for the installations of rail sidings by the MTA. Rail sidings, which are short sections of separate track, play a crucial role in enabling trains to pass each other smoothly. This becomes particularly significant in the single-track territory that encompasses the eastern part of the Montauk branch, where efficient rail sidings are essential for maintaining smooth train operations.
Believe it or not, this idea, the original idea of the South Fork Commuter Connection, goes back to the 1990s. There was an East End task force created by Governor Cuomo, the first Governor Cuomo. That's how long ago that this was, Mario Cuomo. And the idea of a South Fork Commuter Connection, a group of East End elected officials, business people came together in a task force and made this a recommendation. And it took years and years to get the service that we have today. Finally, in 2019, the MTA and the Long Island Railroad relented and said, well, we'll give it a try. They had 10 years before run some trains when County Road 39 was being reconstructed. It was kind of a success back then in 2010. But in 2019, we got the service. Two trains in the morning, 2 trains in the afternoon. the town provides the last mile transportation with buses. And it got up and it got off the ground. And what happened? The pandemic happened. And the whole thing got shut down. And then we had to again convince the MTA and the Long Island Railroad to reestablish this. But they did. And ever since then, the ridership continues to grow. It is one of the few things in 30 years in the New York State Assembly where people call me up and their only complaint is that there is not enough service as part of the South Fork Commuter Connection. And that is why we're here today. I think that East End commuters have spoken with their feet, and that they have come here, the Hampton Bays and West Hampton and Speonk, and they've gotten on the train every morning. They've let the Long Island Railroad know and the MTA know that people will take this to commute to work on the East End. But we need more service, and the biggest impediment to that is infrastructure. We have one from Speonk to Montauk, there's one track in, and that is it. And we need infrastructure improvements, sidings, some changes to the station, signalization in some places. And we have fought, Senator Palumbo and I have fought in Albany to get the MTA to move this project forward. And last fall, we had some success. The MTA was doing a 20-year needs assessment as to what things should they be doing in the future. And we got them to include a project for the South Fork Commuter Connection in that 20-year assessment. That was step one. So we have the capital project. We know the improvements that need to be done. We even know how much it should cost. It's a $260 million project. The next step is that the MTA board has to fund this project. And that decision is being made in October of this year. And that's why this campaign is so of critical importance. I want to thank Councilman Tommy John Scavone for getting this up and this starting to put this coalition together. Because between now and May, June, July, August, September, October, this is the minimum test to know if you can be an assemblyman. I can count that many months. But in those months between now and October, we need the public on the East End, not just the elected officials, not just the towns and villages, but local business people, the school districts, the hospital. We have to join together in this coalition and convince the Long Island Railroad and the MTA that we need to make this investment on the South Fork. I believe it is the single most important infrastructure capital project that we have on the South Fork. Our future growth depends on having public transit, having an option to the trade parade, and that decision needs to be made now. So I am here with all the electeds and all the stakeholders to implore the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, which takes lots of our money in various forms of taxes, whether it be mortgage recording or sales tax, not to mention the fare box, and invest some of that money back here on the East End so that we can have a functional public transit system here on the East End with the rails moving east and west, the buses, Suffolk County, we have our county executive here, Ed Romaine, moving people north and south. Then we would have true public transportation here on the East End. So we ask we more than ask the MTA, we demand that the MTA make the investment in our community that is so essential for our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman. And now I'd like to call up our Suffolk County Executive.
We have our state senator here.
I'd like to call up our State Senator, Anthony Palumbo, First Senate District.
I love it when we change the order on the fly. Thank you, County Executive, and thank you, everyone, for being here, and Tommy John for getting this done. This is really about making noise, as Assemblyman Thiel just mentioned. We have had various issues over the years. When I was in the Assembly, sat only a few seats from my friend but to my left. We had issues on the North Fork, and my Assembly district was the whole northern part, essentially the northern part of the Senate district, and we didn't have weekend service in the wintertime. And it was very simple. If you build it, they will come. The benefits of public transportation far exceed just convenience and economic benefit. The environmental benefit is huge. The ability for us to retain employees, to recruit and retain employees, is also a very big part of this. If you have to drive through the trade parade to work in East Hampton 3 hours in the morning and you're a school teacher, you're going to take a job in not just Speonk, Sachem, you're going to go up west, you're going to go up the island because it's just too inconvenient. No matter how much you love the school, no matter how much you love your job, you can't spend 5 hours a day in the car. That's just not reality. So this has so many layers of importance to us that we need to continue this fight. So I won't be too redundant. I just want to say thank you for coming here. And the fight is just beginning at this point. We need to keep the ball moving down the hill, and we need to let the MTA know that we are here and we need this done. Getting it into the 20-year assessment is a really big deal, believe it or not, because we've been trying to get this done for years. That's a big step in the right direction. But at the end of the day, the infrastructure needs up west and in the 4 boroughs is overwhelming. And that's where their focus typically is. They think on the East End, everybody's wealthy, everybody can afford to take their helicopter to work, which we know is not true. And that's my Senate district, is all 5 eastern towns in northern Brookhaven. So it's really important that you folks are here. I thank you all for your support. I'm so glad we set this up. Keep the fight going, and we don't ask, we demand the MTA get this done for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. County Executive Romaine.
Thanks for the deficit. We love you too, Ed.
Well, thank you, Tommy John, my state assemblyman, for how long? 30 years, Fred. My state senator. I see East Hampton, Southampton supervisors here. I'm a believer in public transportation, and the sign behind me says it all. More trains, less traffic. And anyone that lives out here knows how bad the traffic is. I am a believer in public transportation. I am a believer that we don't do enough to increase public transportation. And the way to do it is to connect the trains to the buses and strengthen our public transportation system. But when you have a single track and you only have 2 trains in the morning and 2 trains in the afternoon, and you don't have the siding infrastructure or the signal infrastructure, you're not going to get it done. We need more trains. We need to improve and rebuild our sidings. We need better signalization on the South Fork. If we did that, I can assure you, and anyone that read Newsday earlier this week knows that I'm pushing for more bus money for Suffolk, because we get the least amount of money of any suburban community. And I will work with your towns. I want to see microbuses so that we can deliver to all of our communities from the train, connect our buses to the train, set up a schedule that makes sense, build a public transportation system that will get some people, not everyone, but enough people out of their cars. We're inundated with traffic. Our roads cannot handle more. We need a good public transportation system. So let's go to work. We've got some great people around here who are partners. This is not a partisan issue. This is a survival issue that is crucial to the South Fork. Let's build a public transportation system that we can be proud of and that we can use.
When I first started in January, I live in West Hampton Beach, and getting to the town to work took me about 25 minutes. Now, as the summer months approach, it's over an hour. So, of course, I started taking the train, which I love, and I'm no stranger to the trains. I used to commute into the city every day. So it was very familiar, and I'm so grateful that we have this opportunity. But I find that I have to drive to Hampton Bays because my only option from West Hampton is either 6 in the morning or 10 in the morning, too early, too late. And so, the goal is to get the cars off the road, and, just even driving to Hampton Bays doesn't accomplish that. So I really hope that the MTA, I'm grateful for the program. Thank you, Fred, and everybody that worked on it. It's wonderful. And I just hope that the MTA hears our pleas and puts some sidings out and more trains for us. Thank you.
And I just want to say very briefly, because you'll hear a lot of redundancy, what you see here today is a product of the fight that Fred Thiel has brought to Albany for us, so we can help working people get to work. Whether it's the teacher, the hospital worker, the restaurant workers, we need to work together. And the message here is very clear. Republican and Democrat, we have a coalition of unity for public transportation here on Long Island. Expand the South Fork Commuter Connection now. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here with my colleagues, school and community leaders, and riders of the South Fork Commuter Connection. Special thanks to Councilmember Tommy John Scavone for his leadership on this issue and for helping us organize today's rally. I'd also like to thank everyone who is here together as we band and send a strong message to the MTA of just how serious we are about our train service. Everyone here knows just how severe the congestion on our roads can be, and the added time, frustration, and stress this adds to our lives. Because how long your commute takes plays a serious role in your day-to-day life, affecting everything from your happiness to your health to your productivity at work. A shorter, stress-free commute makes for a more relaxed and refreshed and productive staff member, which is why this program has been such a great success. It saves time and it saves aggravation. The town of East Hampton and our local schools and our local businesses depend on this service to get our staff to work, as our community relies on you folks from the West. You are the folks teaching our children, protecting our health and safety, running programs essential to our seniors, and ensuring that we as a municipality can deliver the services that we need to our residents. And we cannot afford to lose you because of the commute. We know what the future holds if we don't take action, especially in East Hampton, where our population continues to age, our need for workers only increases, and we need you folks to join us here. So we need the MTA to commit to the funding infrastructure, and this isn't just about investing in train sidings and other improvements. It's also about investing in communities. It's about empowering individuals to access employment, education, and recreational opportunities without having to worry about spending hours in traffic jams. It's about creating economic growth and enhancing the lives of others.
We have representatives here on all levels of government. In addition to Supervisor Bert Gonzalez, we also have Council Member Kate Rogers and Council Member Tom Fly from the town of East Hampton. Thank you for being here. And David Lease is also here, the senior member of that crew. And also from the village of Southampton, we have our Deputy Mayor, Gina Aresta, as well. So thank you. Now, you know, this effort is really a multifaceted effort between commuters, businesses, government, education, and healthcare. And here to represent Southampton Hospital, we have Mr. Robert Ross. Robert?
Let's hope it doesn't squeak. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate everybody being here, and I appreciate the hospital being a part of this coalition. First, I want to thank Assemblyman Thiel for putting this all together all those many years ago. Stony Brook Southampton Hospital is the largest employer on the east end of Long Island, on the South Fork. We employ over 1,200 people working in healthcare in that hospital. It is impossible to recruit and retain employees. And the issue, of course, and I don't want to be repetitive of what everyone else said, of course, is the traffic. We have many of our employees now taking the South Fork Commuter Connection, but as Mayor Morse said, some of the timing is not great. The hospital has a unique schedule where we start at 7 o'clock in the morning. We have a group that comes in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we have a later group. And the later group had the issue they were taking their cars, and the answer was why? Because there was no shuttle bus for them at the late hour when they finished working at 7:30 at night to get back to their cars. So last year, the hospital employed the same shuttle bus company at the cost of $4,200 a month to take our employees that were working at 7:30 back to their cars at the Hampton Bays, Southampton, and the Speonk train stations. So this is so important. You know, healthcare is the most important business there is around, especially after what we've all gone through with the whole COVID situation that we're still trying to recover from. And we really can't believe that started 4 years ago with Southampton having the first COVID patient in Suffolk County in March of 2020 in the hospital. We must put the MTA and the LIRR's feet to the fire. We must get them to put this siding on. It is so paramountly important for the health, not over of the community, but, you know, people want to know when they come out and they buy a house or whatever they do in real estate, they want to know that there's a hospital that has employees and that they would be safe if they have any type of medical emergency. It is so important. We need this public transportation. And I want to commend the county executive also, because I did read the article in Newsday the other day about him trying to get more state aid to get buses. You know, at one point, we didn't even have a bus running on Sunday out here. So, you know, it's just crazy. We really are being taken advantage of. Fred mentioned all the MTA tax that we pay. He didn't mention that it's all on our cell phone also. You get your cell phone, Bull, look at it. There's a line there, MTA tax. If you still have a landline in the house, it's on that as well. So the hospital is happy and proud to be here as part of this, and we definitely support it. And we got to get the MTA to include this in their capital budget. Thank you.
And I want to thank everyone for coming out here today. This is incredibly important for the future of the South Fork. We have representatives from, as you know, our local government on all levels, from the village up to the state, as well as education community. We also have private businesses. I want to give a shout out to the Wolfer people over there who come here.
The laundry people drink.
So we have, today we have created a coalition of people in various parts of the community, and we are inviting you to join the coalition as well. You go onto the Southampton Town website, you'll be able to sign on and be part of our movement this summer. When you see us doing things, please get involved. Please ask the MTA. We need sidings. We need it out here. And thank you very much for coming.
Currently, the commuter trains operate on weekdays from Speonk and Hampton Bays to Montauk to other points, with only 2 eastbound trains in the morning and 2 westbound trains in the afternoon.
The traffic is absolutely soul-crushing. Soul-crushing is the best way to put it, simply because I'm thinking of this morning and we're on our way to Hampton Bays and there was 2 miles of traffic. We got stuck in all that traffic, and it's around 7:54, I would say. We left early, and it's absolutely soul-crushing when you get stuck in traffic just getting to the train.
According to the coalition, adding sidings would enable more trains to run, which in turn would reduce weekday traffic on the roads.
The current South Fork commuter connection, it took years to get it, but once the train started running, it's been very successful. But because of limitations on infrastructure, we just don't have enough service. So, you know, my focus as part of the coalition is to get the Metropolitan Transportation Authority and the Long Island Railroad to include in their capital budget the funding that we need to make improvements here on the South Fork. So instead of having one train every 2 hours, you can have a train every 20 minutes. Make it convenient for people. And people want more service. If we build it, they will come.
As the Rally for Rails concludes, the message is clear. South Fork residents are determined to see improvements in the rail service. The coalition hopes their voices will resonate with the MTA and bring the necessary changes. Thank you for watching Sun 20 TV, and stay tuned for more.